guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at the mothership, the Rady's Rides mothership, because you know what? There's another amazing virtual unveil. 2020 is going to be remembered for a lot of things, but you know what? One thing that's major are a lot of new vehicles. Total redesigns or totally new vehicles altogether. And the big news today is coming from Subaru, the 2022 Subaru BRZ. This is a total redesign from top to bottom. So without further ado, wasting any more time, let's dive in and find out, is this the BRZ that you've been waiting for? Here we go. A little bit of music. And there it is. There is the 2022 Subaru BRZ. Now looking at it, it looks much more mature in a good way. Nobody wants to be really mature, but boy, oh boy, that is a mature 2+2 sports car. It's taken some parts from Subaru's global architecture and brought it into play. The vehicle is a little bit longer. It's a little bit lower and it has a little bit longer wheelbase. And remember, when we say wheelbase, we're talking about the space between the front wheel and the rear wheel. What that's gonna do is create some better stability and control when going through the twisty bits or when going through your favorite racetrack. Looking at the front, I absolutely have to say that I love the styling. You do have that familiar face of the BRZ in that center grille, flat black, the horizontal slots, very clean, but then you can see the changes. And you know what? Those side corner vents are functional, including the side fender vents. It's all about aerodynamic efficiency. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what's going on here. This is the lightest rear-wheel drive 2+2. And when I say 2+2, obviously we're talking about two main seats up front and then two smaller seats in the back. It is the lightest rear-wheel drive 2+2 sports car in the whole world that's currently being sold. For 2022, you're gonna get 50% more stiffness, a more rigid chassis, which is gonna allow you to just read that road amazing. The back of it looks superb, the way they did the exhaust. And of course, who doesn't like some rear-wheel drive performance fun? Now, when it comes to, like I said, the styling, everything up front is gonna be functional. I do like the way they work the headlights, LED, daytime running lamps there. You're gonna get your choice of two different trims, premium or limited, which is great. And off the back, I think it was so smart to do a duck tail spoiler. So you have that duck tail kick up instead of actually having a rigid mounted spoiler that's gonna give you the downforce, but it's also giving you ultra clean looks. And I think the silver was the smart choice for this vehicle in this unveil because it shows the lines. Look at up front, like where the Subaru logo is, you have a rise that goes into the hood. The way they shape the headlight housings look amazing, all blacked out on the interior. And look at it just go through the twisty bits. That's the part that I am super excited about. Now, what is it powered by? This is where, you know, it's gonna get a little bit bumpy. I know a lot of people, including myself, including my wonderful wife, Lori, we were waiting for some turbocharged goodness from Subaru since they do it so well with the WRX and the WRX STI. Well, guess what? It's NA. So I guess you could say not applicable, or you could say NH, it's not here. This is a 2.4 liter naturally aspirated flat 4 engine. The good news is there is more power. So we've gone from 205 horsepower, which remember it was 205 if you got the 6-speed, 200 if you got the automatic. You're going from 205 to 228 horsepower. There's actually an increase in torque. So what you're looking at is 15% more torque than the outgoing generation. Nothing mind-blowing though. So it's 184 pound-feet of torque. You are still gonna get your choice. And thank you, Subaru, for doing this 6-speed manual or an all-new 6-speed automatic. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, is it the same automatic from the previous generation? No, they've actually done some great work. So you're going to have different modes, of course, and when you put it into sport mode, the transmission itself, the transmission itself in sport mode, it's going to change the whole behavior of it. It will actually blip and downshift as you're going and braking for a turn, but then it's also going to be in that sweet spot so that when you get back on throttle, it's not going to be chasing through all these gears. Another thing that I'm liking, I'm liking the horsepower. More horsepower is good, especially for this BRZ. Would have been nice to have the turbo, but one of the biggest things that I am liking is that the weight hasn't really increased that much. So if you're going for the limited trim, you're looking around 2,850 pounds with that slick shifting 6-speed manual transmission. The side there, I love. If you look that lower sill, the way it kicks up, very prominent, gives it a lot of depth. And even the way the side vents are, it almost makes it look like a flared fender. It's reminding me of a Toyota, like a RCF. So if you look at a Lexus RCF, I love that flared out fender style. And it makes sense because remember, this is a joint venture between Toyota and Subaru. Out back, like I said, I think they did the exhaust great. You got your one exhaust outlet on each side, nice massive diffuser, and then you're getting that ducktail kick-up spoiler. Now, these are going to be built in Japan, so I know some people like to have that heritage, this being a Japanese company. It's coming directly from Japan. And if you're wondering, well, what about wheel and tire setup? You're going to have two choices, 17-inch or 18-inch wheels. I even love the way they did that lower lip spoiler extension up front in flat black. I'm telling you, this thing, I cannot, look at the back of it. I cannot wait to get behind the wheel. And I'm also digging the way they kept that double bubble sort of hood roof line look to it. Really gives it a nice, aggressive, sporty overall stance. Now, I know you're wondering, well, Joe, we're seeing a lot of outside footage here. What's going on the inside? Now, Subaru's gonna, dribble information to us as we get closer to the official release, which obviously this will be coming sometime in 2021 as a 2022 model year. And we've already talked about it. If you're sitting there crying saying, well, are they not producing a 2021? Subaru's already announced that. That's old news. So dry your tears, and hopefully that this Subaru BRZ will put a big smile on your face. I'm thinking as of right now, I enjoy this regular 2020 Subaru BRZ. I think this is a step in the right direction. Is it the one that we wanted? That's yet to be determined, but you have a 7,000 RPM redline, and on the inside, what do we have? Do we have anything new? 7-inch digital gauge cluster. So you're gonna have a beautiful, upgraded, updated digital display, and the great news is when you go into track mode, the tachometer changes. So you're gonna have some adjustability there depending on the different modes, and that, I think, is really gonna just bring the whole quality of the interior to a new level. You're gonna get an all-new 8-inch infotainment system. Of course, it's got the Starlink, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. If you go the automatic route, and you know what? Hey, with this new automatic transmission, the way that they got it tuned, that may be a great fun way to drive this BRZ. You are gonna get eyesight technology. So you're getting that safety technology from Subaru that's gonna make sure that you arrive alive every single time. And it really is one of the best systems in the industry. If you go 6-speed manual, you're gonna have to use your own eyesight to make sure that you stay out of trouble. And that's what the bottom line is with that. But I think the way that they took parts of the global architecture to allow this vehicle just to be a little bit lower, and like I said, a little bit longer, I think that's really gonna help with high-speed stability. That left-right transition is gonna keep the car so rock solid. And yes, does it have 228 horsepower? Do we want more? Of course, but it'll be interesting to see how the chassis responds with this power bump increase. I would eventually like to see a turbocharged engine in this. Take the FA motor, drop it in there, over 260 horsepower. I think this thing would be a cruise missile. But I tell you, even the way, if you notice, they did the rear taillights, they kind of have like a little fin action going on there. It's all about aerodynamic efficiency. And if you haven't driven one of these ever, or if it's been a while, it'll be interesting to get behind the wheel, because I'm telling you, you have the right amount of power to where you come out of a turn, you just get on throttle. You know, you just roll on that throttle and you are just projecting yourself from turn to turn to turn, and you don't have to worry about the back end really coming around on you, even though it's a rear-wheel drive car. That's one of the things I really enjoy about driving the current BRZ. It's going to be interesting to see this one. I'm not seeing any Brembo brakes on it, so it will be interesting to see if they eventually come out with a performance pack with some nice red 4-piston, at least 4-piston, hopefully 6-piston Brembo calipers with some enlarged rotors. But they reworked the whole suspension. This isn't something where they just put a different nose and a different tail on it and they call it a day. They did rework the suspension and all the inner bits underneath the sheet metal to make this truly a new Subaru BRZ. Because remember, in 2017, when they did that refresh, it still was the same BRZ from step one. That was just a refresh. This is the all new. So this is technically the second generation of the Subaru BRZ. And as you can see, doing burnouts, doing donuts is definitely going to be plausible in this car. But I love the nice strong body lines, and it really gives it that side stance, just has such a purposeful look to it. It looks like it's doing 200 miles an hour, just basically rolling down the road there. But I'm so glad that we were able to take a few moments this morning and get this information to you. There will be more coming, so stay tuned to Rady's Rise. We're going to bring it to you first. If you want to keep seeing these virtual unveils, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this BRZ. Is it the one that you've been waiting for? Because like I said, it's missing that small snail known as a turbo, and that's affecting the horsepower. So let me know how you feel about that. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Got to give it up to my wonderful wife, the camera queen of YouTube. She's able to set up a set like that as soon as we get the information, and she works that camera like a champ. So show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.